Hello everyone and welcome to the theleohopsonpodcast. This is a show built around real people and real conversations. And my goal is simple: to learn from others, uncover valuable insights, and to share those stories with you completely free of charge. Now with that being said, I've never done anything like this before. I have no background in podcasting, filmmaking, editing, or content creation. What I do have is a genuine curiosity about people, their stories, and the lessons they've learned throughout their lives. This podcast is an opportunity for me to learn, grow, and improve with every new episode, and I truly appreciate every single person who chooses to be a part of that journey. Now, if you find yourself enjoying the conversations and would like to see the channel grow, please consider subscribing and following along. It's completely free, and it helps more than you might realize. To those of you who already subscribed and followed the channel, thank you. Your support means a great deal, and I promise to bring you better conversations, improve production, and the highest possible quality I can. With that being said, thank you. Thank you for being here, and please enjoy what's to come. Cool. Yeah, I went ahead and I bought the mics, and then I'm using my phone, and Nick lent me the
Digi
Osmo Pocket 3, so it's like very cost effective.
Perfect.
Which
Nick,
is good.
Big Nick.
Big Nick, yeah. Van der Linde.
Perfect.
And I just told myself, let me get to at least 10 episodes, and then I'll invest in cameras and stuff like that. But anyways, cool.
I'm just glad you're doing it, yeah.
I'm going to start with this introduction.
Mm-hmm.
So, today's guest is a writer, filmmaker, poet, competitive Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athlete. She has built a unique career around exploring identity, belonging, culture, and social justice through storytelling. Her work spans through poetry, documentary, filmmaking, television production, and live performance. She has worked on major South African productions, including Netflix's Blood and Water, directed the powerful documentary This Is Not Another Rape Poem, authored the Load Shedding monologues, and continues to use her voice to challenge difficult conversations. Alongside her creative work, Santhea is an accomplished Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitor who has represented South Africa at national and international competitions, including the IBJJF European Championships at the blue belt level. Today we explore the fascinating relationship between art and combat, creativity and discipline, and how both can become vehicles for self-discovery and transformation. Please welcome Santhea Sinivasan, aka The Spider.
Thank you, Leo.
I think the first question we all want to know is, when are we going to see another Joroko X Spider?
Cute.
Yeah, that was dope.
There's always hope in the future. What I do love and what led to that, which is what makes me excited, is with Giroko, they are like so open to supporting local athletes, and I got the idea not from me, like I wasn't the first person to do it. It was Nabil, also a competitor from Henzo Gracie, who I think he was the first one where they created a custom kit for him to sponsor him to go. And they've done a couple for him. And what I love about them is they did mine, right? Even though I wasn't at the gym. And they made it so easy and open. And yeah, I think you also know that getting local and or good jiu-jitsu gear can be such a schlep, and it was cool to get something that is so good quality, but also something that you can wear that kind of represents you.
That is nice.
Which is nice. So even if it's not something that, I think the Spider kit was very special for me because it was something that was fully about me, which is not usually my thing. But it was cool to see how many people bought it and wear it still, just to support me on a small or big journey. So yeah, I'm sure there will be more in the future, even if it may not be for me. But I love wearing it to support other people, the brand itself. I want to support. Yeah,
Jiroko's
really cool.
I like the quality. But did you expect it to do as well as it did?
No, not at all.
Sales?
I was really scared. It was, I think we did 20 kits, and Petra, who's the owner of Giroko, he was like, what we can do is we'll open it up to the Mad Fit People, where I was obviously training then with you.
Yeah.
And it's and then after we can release it like for anyone else in the public, and it sold out so quickly at our gym.
You guys only did 20 kits though.
Yeah,
That's quite a few.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was
Very
it was,
limited
I was
edition.
scared. I was very scared, but it turned out great. And by the time it did get to release to the public, I don't think there was anything left. Or there might have been one or two, but then it turned out everyone from the gym had bought it. Even people you don't expect to buy it at all. It was very cool. And I love seeing people wear it still. It's cool. It's very special.
Yeah, it feels like that limited edition piece of gear.
Yeah, like you had
that
to be
only
there.
you have. Yeah, you have to be there for it. You have to know if you know.
Yeah. And now I also feel like when I train at Enzo, I see the stuff that they've done before I knew about them. And I itch for some of those kits too, but you can't have them. Like I try and make deals, whether it's with Nabil for like the Marlboro kit. I don't know if you've seen it.
Dude, I love that kit.
And I was like, oh, I really, really want that. And he's like, nope. Well, nope.
And they're not gonna manufacture more.
I know that
just go for different designs each and every time.
Yeah, I think they really do like the limited edition things. But I know there has been some suggestions. I don't know whether Peter will do anything with it about like re-releasing some of the classics, like the Marlboro kit or Nabil's You're Not Serious kit, or
The lifeguard.
the half guard set. Because I obviously did so well, and now people see it at comps and stuff, and they're like, "Ooh, I want that." But yeah.
But who manufactures it?
I'm not sure.
You're not
I
sure?
know that it is done internationally. Peter has lots of secrets, but
What do you mean internationally?
like
So is he selling outside of South Africa?
he has an international manufacturer, then it gets shipped here, and then we sell it. So we design it. So Nick van der Linde designed mine, and then he sends it off with how many kits and everything, gets it manufactured there, and then brings it here.
I don't know, it wasn't too expensive when I bought mine. It was really well priced compared to like the progress kits and all of that.
I agree. And it's also, like you say, it's not only is it limited, and it's a full set. Like if you want to get something, but obviously those are obviously like more established brands. So I think people charge more for the import of the brand. But I think with Kiroko, because they know they always sell out with their stuff, so they don't have excess stock lying around where they have to like compensate for that and charge more just in case people don't buy. I feel.
So did you approach Jiroko before Euros?
Yes.
Because that was to fund your Euro trip.
Yes.
Essentially.
It was. I think it was quite a cool way that it happened, which was I got the idea because, like I said, I saw Nabil was going to ADCC, and not only had I always wanted to buy a Giroko kit, but I thought the kit was cool. This was the half guard kit. They have done one before that for him to do AJP Worlds, I think. And when he was doing that, not only did I want the kit itself, but I also wanted to support somebody going
Locally.
there.
Yeah.
I feel like the scene is so small, and then especially, not only is it just in South Africa, but in Cape Town, like we weren't training at the same gym or anything, we weren't friends or anything, but I've always like been a fan, and I think that's so cool. And to be a part of somebody, like even if you can help a little bit to support somebody else going and representing on the world stage, I would love to do that. And like I've always said, and why I wanted to do this rather than like a GoFundMe or something, is I want people to feel like it's not like charity, like they do get something in return, and it's something they actually want and
they
can use.
get value out of it.
Yeah, like it's a mutual thing. I would hate that. Maybe I've also done a lot of competitive sports growing up, and like had to fundraise for trips everywhere, and I always had that ick when it came to like, oh please just pay for this thing that they can get nothing out of. Like I played very competitive touch rugby when I was 17, 18, 16, and we were funding our trip to the World Cup which was in Malaysia, I think. And the fundraising for that was always like, oh, we're going to do, like, just pay. Like, if you can't afford it, then... Because I know in Joburg, so this is turning such a long story, but in Joburg, a lot of the girls who were part of my team were relatively well off. Like, it was either they came from Crawford Santon or stuff like that. So the parents were happy to pay.
Yeah.
But it was such a stark difference when we like made a national team and see so many girls from Cape Town who couldn't afford it, and how the lengths they went to fundraise their trip it was just more interesting to me. Like how, and I just don't think sports like should be gatekept just for like people who can afford it, and therefore people should always fund people. But I also feel like it's an unsustainable method to have people just pay, like donate. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but like you can maybe only do it once.
Forever.
Yeah.
You can't do it forever.
So when you ask, is there another kit? Hopefully in the future, definitely. Because I'm sure there'll be many comps that you want to go to, whether it's me or someone else, and it's a great way to do it. I know I've never had enough of kits on cycle to wear, and you love buying new stuff that you can use all the time.
Yeah, you bring up a really interesting point with like the funding behind women's sports, because my sister plays polo and netball, but she's played on a provincial level, and it's like really sad to see how most of the girls can't afford to go, and most of the times they'll get funding if it's not from the parents or from a single parent whose daughter is a part of the team. That's only going to happen while their daughter's there.
Yeah.
So it's not something that's ongoing.
Yeah.
It's just a problem.
Especially for like unrecognized or like smaller sports. It's like you say, things like polo or touch rugby or definitely jiu-jitsu. Like there's no, at least I don't know about polo, but for touch rugby there was like some sort of like national body, governing body, which at least they used to talk about it or like have like a board where they would discuss how they're going to fund things. But ultimately, if these are like annual trips and you're always going to need more and more people, I think a difference also, there's a big difference. What I've learned, I've never really played an individual sport to this level where you want to compete overseas or even compete as much as I compete now. But like funding for individuals gets complicated because there's so many people who want to do it. Whereas like a team, you get chosen and selected, and then I guess they fundraise for the team, and then sometimes that's more interesting to people than like fundraising one particular person.
But I feel like there's a lot of jealousy that comes around that, It happens, I'm sure.
I think I was chatting to one of the coaches at the gym now last week, and he was saying like just like why did you get into jiu-jitsu and stuff, which is one of my favorite like icebreaker questions.
You asked this?
Yeah, because it's always interesting to hear. Everyone has a story. You don't just like end up there. Like everyone has a very serious, interesting story of how they end up at jiu-jitsu. And he was saying he was also very competitive at school, like played a lot of school sports. But what really stuck out to him about jiu-jitsu is it's an individual sport, but it doesn't require you to be selected for anything. Like whether it was swimming, because I also swam in high school, but you still have to like make trials, get selected for the team, and only the best of the best get to go. And what's interesting about jiu-jitsu, and I can go into a lot of why I think that is you get to pick if you're going to compete or not. You don't need like approval from anybody. Sometimes you don't even need like a gym to be associated with you to sign up for a competition. I think that poses its own unique struggles, but it's also really interesting because at the end of the day, as I'm sure you hear a million times, it's like, if I lose, it's my own fault, and if I win, it's also there's credit to be, but like you can credit your coach and stuff, but you had to show up on the day and do it. So, but I think when it comes to like an individual sport that anyone can do, it's harder for like fundraising purposes, like as a group, because there's no selection. Like I just said, it's like some people, anybody can come at any point, and now today the team is 2 people, tomorrow the team is 4 people and 10 people or whatever. So everyone has to be in charge of their own way there, which can be interesting. And everyone's at such vast different levels, like whether you're a purple belt or a black belt or a white belt, or whether you've had competition experience before or not, or whether you have family members there. So it does become really cool to see how people rally around to make it easier for people to travel and compete, whether they like know somebody who stays there who can like give you a place to stay, or you can travel with somebody, share the costs. It's very cool. But it does make it difficult for like funding people, I think. Yeah.
Would you say that's the biggest hurdle when it comes to competing on the international stage now?
Funding for people from South Africa, definitely, because all the big competitions are so out of the way. Whereas like if you're in Europe, it's easier to get around to things. You have IBJJF competitions, opens that are could be in your city or the next city near you or in a country near you. Then they'll have the European Opens, so they have, the majors, so they have a major competition nearby. And they have trials nearby, which I mean like are all in a 4-hour, 5-hour flight situation.
Cool. And it's very it's very cheap.
Yeah, and you
to
can
fly around Europe.
You can do multiple things. I think what struck me the most also is like I went there to do Euros. It was difficult to raise funds. It was difficult, like it's a long journey to get there. It's only my first one overseas. And then for example, like me, I lost in the first round, and then it feels really like cuck. Basically, you're like, oh my gosh, I've done all this stuff. And then you train, and then the next time you can do it again, not only does it cost a lot, but when will you have the time to like get there again? It requires a lot of planning. So I know like other people like Cara Duplessis, I know like when she is planning a comp or a trip, she tries to plan like camps around it where you can utilize that time or like you've traveled so far to now make a training camp out of it, train at other gyms, level up, make it like
traveling.
so that it's not just the comp, but also like there's a sustained, because I guess you can't always control. You can never control what's going to happen at a competition, but you have these you can at least level up your skills as well, for sure, while you're there. But I think that's a big thing. Also, I know in Asia, there is still at least closer to Europe, but they've also introduced the Asian IBJJF major, well, not major, but championship. And obviously America has a shit ton of comps. So yeah, it's that, but I think also training caliber and training levels from here to there is unbelievable. Maybe it's like how many people do it, how many people do it competitively, and also how long I guess people have been doing it, long standing culture, and individually, like how long. I know when I was there, the girls that were in the final of my blue belt adult division were both 16 or 17.
Really?
So they weren't even doing the juvenile division. They were doing the adult division
Already?
and winning. So
wow,
it's very cool.
Imagine being a blue belt at 16 years old, going on to smoke people.
Yeah, the scary
these
thing.
Major tournaments. It's awesome.
At training yesterday, we were actually saying the scariest thing is if you run into a green belt, because it's like a kid, but that means they've been training for like 12 years. So what does that mean? Like, what's going to happen to you?
Is green the
if
highest
you're
for children?
For children, it's just before the blue belt. So it's a kid's belt, so no adult can have a green belt. But once you turn 16, I think after that, blue belt. Like, so you can still get a blue belt at 16.
That's the earliest you can get.
That's the earliest, I think, yeah. And that's the highest you can get at that age. That's where you get those freaky stories of people who like can go from blue belt to black belt in 1 year. And it's just because it seems stupid, and I saw somebody say that it's like Jiu-Jitsu is becoming like Taekwondo because like people are getting belts in 1 year, but it's those children have been training for like more than some other people have been alive. Like
Mika Galvao.
Yeah, those crazy stories
of
people training as children. It's like inconceivable. Because if you think, like, I've only been training for almost 2.5 years now, and I think, like, oh, I've been training. It feels like I've been training long. And now at Enzo, when you hear people have been training for 20 years, and you're like, oh, I can't imagine training for 20 years. Or, like, Nabil's only 21, and he's been training for, like, something stupid, like 12, 15 years.
Serious, eh?
It's like, doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, when you're introduced to that space so young, man, you become really good. Like Kid Max as well, from MadFit. He's what, probably 16 now or 17?
Yeah, I think he's about to turn 17.
17, dude. But he went and trained in London under, I think, Roger Gracie. Did you?
And in the
you didn't go to London though. You went to.
I didn't.
Where did you go?
We went to Portugal for
Portugal,
Euros.
yes, it was Portugal.
He competed as well at that.
Yes.
He won one, lost one. Then he stayed, like you say, because his brother is racing in F3.
And he wasn't in a juvenile division.
He was.
Was he?
He was. And then he competed, he trained there for like 2-3 months. Now he just did the IBJJF Worlds. So he trains there. He came back, I think he was back here for a month. Then he went to do Worlds, also juvenile, blue belt, I want to say heavyweight. And then he lost on points in the first round as well. But when I spoke to him, he was like, you'd think, because I remember at the time I was so overwhelmed, I was so upset because of like you train for so long and you're like, I just got smoked.
Yeah.
But I spoke to him and he did win when he was in London. He did the Open and won double gold, which was really cool. And then, but Worlds, all these majors these championships are just a different level. And when he did that one and he lost, it was very inspiring to me to see how at such a young age he was okay with losing. Like he didn't internalize it too much. He's like, even though this is basically what he does now, is he trains full time and is competing. And he just said that he knows what his issues were and he knows it's all on his journey. And so he doesn't feel upset. I also saw something today that it's a classic Craig Jones thing where he was speaking to somebody from Guardian, which is like a jiu-jitsu non-profit. And he was talking about how he tries not to celebrate his wins too much because it makes the losses easier to ignore when they happen. Because you can get too emotional if you're training after a loss. But you can always get better, as long as you're not too emotional. He's like, you can't really control what's going to happen in the match, but you can control your own training and like your mindset in training and getting better. And really that's what matters most, which I thought was quite cool. And that reminded me of Max.
Yeah.
Because like he won, and you can see he's won a lot here. He's won like Opens. And you can see he doesn't like hop on about it way too much or like let it get to his head. So it's easier for him. I think that's the most important thing. If you want to, I've learned through trial and fire is like not to take your L's to heart, or you'll never be able to like keep going.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, when you're saying you've spoken to people who've been training for 20 years, you've been doing it 2.5. I'm coming up on 2. What do you think keeps those people that have been training for 12 to 20 years around? Because jiu-jitsu it's a very hard sport to keep doing. So many people drop out. The stats, we can go over that for the viewers, for those who don't understand. 10% of white belts become blue belts, and then 10% of blue belts become purple belts. Those are stupid numbers. What do you think keeps those people coming back? And what gives you the confidence to know that you're going to keep coming back to train?
It's always a great question. I feel like the stats also, especially when you get your blue belt, and you'll know someday soon, Leo, it's like, it feels like such a relief, like you're like, I'm being recognized for like work I've put in and how much I've grown. And like you say, when I explained it to my parents when I got my blue belt, because I feel like people who don't train never really get it and why it matters so much.
Yeah.
I always love that 10% story. Then they go like, oh, okay, that's cool. But it's tough to say. I can't imagine. It freaks me out when people say, oh, I've trained for 20 years, because we've all, and I know you must have had it, I definitely have it sometimes. It's like, maybe this is not for me, maybe I'm just going to quit. It's fine.
100%.
It's fine. But what I've found recently, it's always the people, like, I've always been a very competitive person, and I remember thinking about competing for the first time and saying maybe I shouldn't compete because I'm too competitive, and it could ruin this thing that it had built. Because it's weird, like the first 8 months I trained, there was no competitions. There was never a thought of how to train for competition. There was just training, like how to get better, like your own roles in the gym, the people you see all the time, developing relationships with people, trying to hit the move of the day. That was it. I couldn't even conceive of a competition for 8 months. And I think that was quite important for me.
But then, you kept coming back at that point in time, which is also very tough to do.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I didn't know that there was a world in which there's like competitions you could train for yet. And then after that I hit, like, I think last year I was competing very close to almost every month. Then that was weird. Like, it was like you forgot what it's like to just like come back and enjoy it or like, instead of always trying to like level up in a very specific way, if that makes sense, or prep and train in specific ways. I know that Adam Wazinski, who is now retired, but like gi champion, he said when he retired from competition, the thing he enjoyed the most was just being able to play around with shit and figure it out and like invent new stuff. Like, you don't have to win every single time, and like just like have fun. But what I've learned, because I've also had like coming back after Euros and like trying to figure out how much you want to compete, if you even want to compete anymore, because it can be so overwhelming. And then getting smashed at the gym every day, sometimes it is just too much. But what I've learned and like I was saying with people, is just speaking to people and hearing their own experiences and that they've had that and somehow gotten through that, is always amazing. The people you get to meet. I know that when I sat and spoke to Connor from Southside the other week, he was just like, you have to, and I know everyone's already said it, but sometimes it's nice when someone looks at you and says it. It's like, you should compete. I mean, you must set small goals for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it really doesn't matter what other people have to say, or like, you can't sit and wait like for external validation from anyone, whether it's a teammate or a coach or a friend. It's like, if you set your own small goals and you hit it, whether it's like, oh, I want to hit this sweep, or I want to get this takedown, or like this small detail that you want to work on, then you can know you are getting better de facto. Like, it's not like you need anyone to say, oh, Santhea, you're improving. Oh, Leo, you are really good at this thing. Because sometimes that can also be like really arbitrary and really disheartening, like if you're waiting and waiting and waiting. And I think why it's so cool to hear it from him especially is like at blue belts. I can only speak about white and blue belt because I've never obviously achieved anything else. But at blue belts it's like really weird because the levels are so vast. It can be like really basic, like when you just get your blue belt and you're basically still a white belt but you're not. Or you can get people at the other end of the bracket who are basically purple belts who've been blue belts for 5+ years.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to really compare yourself to them because everyone's on their own journey, and sitting and trying to figure out how you can be like someone else is too difficult, I find. So why I come back would be, I know there's still stuff I want to learn. What I love about Jiu-Jitsu more than any sport I've ever done before, and I've done a lot, is it feels like a game that never ends. Like, there are literally people inventing shit right now.
Yeah.
Of ways to beat it. And I know, like, we also used to talk about like leg locks when like as new things and like things we need to learn. Then you go through a phase where everyone's leg locking everyone, and then you go through a phase where no one's leg locking anyone because everyone knows how to defend their leg lock, and they're now using the leg lock to get to the back or something, and now it's reverting back to normal jiu-jitsu, like
the traditional.
Yeah, like not leg locks, like passing and taking them back and stuff like that. And so therefore the system just keeps the wheel keeps reinventing itself, which I think it's so cool. And every roll with every person, we can roll 100 times and it'll have 100 different results. And
it's like literal chess.
Yeah, literally.
chess.
Like you're like, cool. When I was a white belt and I was getting smashed every day, what used to make me come back, I remember sitting after class. It was Dean and Adam, I think, and I was just like, guys, what do you do when you're having a bad time? Like you actually hate it, like you suck. Like, you know, when you're crying on the way home, or you're like not listening to music, and you're just like, well, the past week has just been so bad. What do you do? And they were like, well, you just come back. And then I used to remember after a bad day, like if you've been training and it's just bad, I used to stand in my car and like be talking to someone after class. And then you just think, well, at least that's over. Like you can come back tomorrow and it can be a whole different thing. Or like in the training room, small things like that. Like it's like you're having a terrible role and then it ends. And now you start a whole new role that is not terrible yet, it's not good yet, it's a whole new thing. And then that role can be great.
Yeah.
Or I think that's cool. Like the emotional experience of being able to do something hard and then be okay afterwards. Yeah, that's cool. Like, and not having to carry that into the next role or not carrying that into the rest of the day. I love that. Like I love, like, you literally, I have FOMO. Like if I miss a day, it's like, I wish I knew what people were learning.
Yeah.
Rather than like, it's never been like, maybe it's because I'm a girl, maybe it's because I'm small, but it's like, it's never been, I miss beating people up. I miss winning all the time. It's just been like, I wonder what people are learning. Is that the thing that I like? Like, as you do it more and more and more, you'll like develop stuff that you really like and stuff that doesn't work for you. And you have to be able to like, I don't know, figure that out. But where I am now, it's the thing that brings me back is this idea of building a game that makes you want to return to it. Because the game looks different to everyone. So like, if you had to tell me I have to go and like wrestle every single day, I know that's not going to be something I enjoy, even though I do it and I want to get better at it. And maybe someday that will be something I want to do. But I know for me, very randomly, but this is it. It's like, I always tell myself one day I'm going to be really good at bolos. And I want to learn how to take people's back like that. So you start with that and you're like, okay, I'm doing this for the bit. This is what I like, even though I suck at it. But you can't be better at something if you don't suck at it, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess your game is your own craft. It's your baby.
Yeah, like it really becomes like a work of art. Yeah.
Literally.
Where you can develop it. I love that. Like when you look at, like when you train with people long and you're like, this is your thing. This is your thing. Like I remember, I just love it. I remember when you were working on Spider Guard.
Yeah.
And it was like, not because we were doing it in class or anything. And then we roll and it's like, I get swept 3 times by this Spider Guard sweep that I'd not been exposed to yet. And I'm sure, how did that feel for you? Where you're like, this thing I'm doing all by myself. I'm working on it all by myself. And it works.
So dope. I remember starting Jiu-Jitsu and just getting smashed by like the little guys. And I say that for the people that don't understand. Weight is a big factor in Jiu-Jitsu. If you're a heavy person, it's like having an extra belt, basically. But anyways, I remember starting and I remember guys would like be on my back, have both my arms wrapped up, one hand on my mouth, another hand like literally patting my head like I'm a toddler.
And I have no answers.
And you have no answers and you just have to accept it. But then, as you were saying before, showing up, being consistent, coming back, that doesn't happen anymore. It actually goes the other way. Which is why I also just love how what you put in is what you get out. And when you work on your own things, you know, and when it starts to show, and you notice that, you know what, I'm actually building something that's working and satisfying.
I love when people are like Gilly, who is also like a white belt at MadFit, right? He's like, I remember when he won his first gi competition, and he won like 6 or 7 matches. But the thing he was most excited about was like, look at this foot sweep that I hit. I just think that's so, like, nothing can compare to like the small things that you wanted to work on or things you wanted to hit. He's like, look, I did this. Like, I know I'm like the same. There's just, I think when people are like, yeah, I won. Like winning is like, it's cool. But like, I hit this thing. I lost, but I hit this thing. It feels much more special because I think that all that winning is like a moment in time, but whether like to know that you were able to set up everything exactly how you've trained it and planned it and hit it, even if it doesn't work perfectly, you did do it. That just feels cool. Like you say, it's like chess. Like, can I pull off this move I've been studying or thinking about? Or
And hitting it
I
is so
tricked
satisfying.
you. Yeah, like I'm like, I got you. It's
So
pretty cool.
how much of jiu-jitsu do you take into your personal life in terms of showing up, and was that something that you learned after doing jiu-jitsu?
Two things with that. The first one is I started jiu-jitsu because I wanted to do something that I would be bad at. Like literally, that was the thing. Like I was like, I want to be really bad at something. Because like growing up, I was a perfectionist. Whether it was sports or school, I always wanted to like be perfect at stuff and be really, really good at stuff. And I feel like that's been so damaging sometimes for like, because as you get older, you do end up sticking to stuff that you're good at because you've worked on it for 20 years or whatever. Like, it could be easier for me to have continued playing touch rugby or netball or swimming or whatever. But it was like, I want to do something that's really hard and like commit yourself to getting better at something. And then from that, in my personal life, it's like, not only is it this like thing we've already always heard, which is like, I think Justin said it once, which is like, oh, I can go to work today because somebody just tried to kill me. Like, nothing can be harder than that. I can face the day. There's that, like actual hardship and like your body, moving your body, that has helped calm anxiety or whatever, and like you're able to get into the day, which is like exercise. But I think the biggest thing, like you're saying, is like how showing up for yourself can change things. Like even we all have ideas and stuff. Potentiality, that was always my biggest issue. It's like I have all these great concepts and it's great in potential. Like also as a writer, it's like, oh, I've got like a great idea, whether it's for a poem or a book or a script. It's like, it's perfect. It's actually perfect, but it doesn't exist if you don't do it. Like if you don't show up and allow yourself. And the scariest thing, even for me in writing, is like you show up and it's bad. Because it's always going to be bad the first time. It's literally just the beginning. And having the courage to like do it anyway and then get better from there, edit it, let things come to you. I used to crash out all the time. Like stuff is bad, it's so bad, how can it be bad? And then also like forcing stuff. I like with jiu-jitsu, there's also only so much you can train in a day. Like you actually can't like you could think if you stagger 4 or 5 sessions, you're gonna get better exponentially. There's a cap of like how much your brain can do, and I've had that with tasks as well, where I'm like, I just want to sit and do everything today. Like I'm just gonna sit and finish it, but you can't. You need to like, or in terms of quality, like you need to stop, go do something else, and like that's why I think they connect so well for me, writing and or creative work. And jiu-jitsu, because both require you to do other things. Like you need to let your mind wander, whether it's like we here now talking, like ideas will come to you or something you didn't know about yourself. You need to talk to other people, go outside, spend time outside, let things come naturally. I know Murakami, who's a writer, he wrote this little memoir essay thing, which is what I talk about when I talk about running. And because he would run all the time, every day. And he would say it's like a fundamental part of his creative process because he needs to move his body. And when he's out doing that, ideas start coming to him. I think as a person in a creative world, you can't actually just sit at a desk all day and be like, oh, stuff's going to come to me, which is interesting for writing as a vocation. It's actually, you have to like do everything else, spend time with friends, do some weird crazy adventure and like move your body, come back, and then stuff comes to you, because writing is like life. Like it's literally just you're just taking life and putting it into words, so you have to live in order to do it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like it's like similar to like psychologists, like when people I know Daniel talks about like when he was in university and people who were doing masters, like they used to usually be older people, and it's like you can't really advise people on life unless you've like lived it.
Yeah.
So how can you really write about life without doing it? So I feel like, but that still means you have to show up and do it. I don't know if that makes sense. That's how jiu-jitsu has impacted me. I know I've gone on like this long-winded story, but it's part of like living, which it's reminded me. There's so much you can do at jiu-jitsu that's not even about the game itself. Like the people that you would have never met if you weren't doing jiu-jitsu. The people we are now friends with, we would never have met. Like, we would literally never, our paths would never have crossed. And if we saw each other on the street or barely like introduced each other, we may have been like, oh,
100%.
geez, Leo, or maybe not. But
my girlfriend says it all the time. She goes, like, your friend group today and the people you hang around, when you were in school, it would not have been like that.
it doesn't make, you guys would never be friends. Like, I know there was I was applying for something and there was like an essay question, and it was a question on reconciliation, and it was like, where in your life do you feel you could, exercise reconciliation better or something like that, something weird like that. And I was like toying with it, like old friends, like maybe I could reconcile a bit better, people with different political views. But what I eventually came back to, because it also had to be like a short answer, 750 words or something. And I came to jiu-jitsu again, because it was like, and not even for the sport itself, but like the people you meet, we all have like radically different views on stuff. And stuff that if I didn't do jiu-jitsu and meet you through jiu-jitsu, not you personally, other people also, but like if I met your political views first, for example, I would never spend time with you. Or if I met your certain opinions, like I would have just assumed you're a bad person, or not a bad person, but a person that I don't gel with. Like you might think I'm a bad person. I know a lot of people, if they knew me in certain ways, like the fact that I'm a writer and not another like different types of like people who have strict views on like you have to be working like a 9 to 5 or whatever. They might be like, you're lazy, you're a freeloader, what. But because we met in this other way that bonded us in such a different way, it really raises so many questions about like preconceived ideas we have about people, especially like in the modern age where you can, whether it's on Tinder or Instagram or whatever, where people are like trying to put themselves into little boxes, which will allow like to minimize discomfort. Like it's like, oh, I can see this person really likes dogs and I hate dogs. So I'm actually, I'm glad we got that out the way. Whereas like here you train with someone every day, you don't know anything about them, you become close with them, and then you find out something about them that you may not really like or like don't agree with. But then you realize it's not that bad. Like you can appreciate people as 3-dimensional human beings, and you can open your worldview. I think that was also a big thing for me, was like coming from a university space, from a humanities degree, where as a very leftist person, left-leaning or liberal or whatever you want to say, it's like had such very strong ideas on what it meant to hold other opinions because it was so segregated in the atmosphere. And then you go to a martial arts gym where it is oftentimes like not the left-leaning people, and then you're like, oh, so some people are not people I would hang out with, that's for sure.
Of course.
But most of the time we're all actually just, especially young people, are just people looking for friends in the modern era who don't have like third spaces where people meet each other anymore and hang out.
Yeah, that's not existent
It doesn't really happen. Like Daniel's dad always loves to say, he's like, oh, I used to ride my bike and run the neighborhood and my mom had no idea where I was, meeting up with my people at the park and doing crazy shit. I'm like, we don't do that.
I wish we had that.
People don't meet, like, how the last time I met like random strangers before jiu-jitsu in this way, where you'd see each other all the time, is like school or university, where you're like forced to be in the space all the time.
But I feel like nowadays at university, I know a lot of people that are struggling to make friends.
Yeah, it's even harder.
And you're in an environment where you see each other every day, and
they don't want to talk to each other.
And you're still not connecting. It's a problem. I don't know what... we are isolating ourselves completely.
I think it is
completely.
one of the biggest issues of the generation. Is like,
Well, they say it's like just as bad as smoking. The loneliness pandemic is also at
Epidemic,
its
yeah.
highest it's ever been, I think.
yeah,
That's probably because of our cell phones and social media and all of these.
preconceived notions.
Yeah, but you say like a lot of people have all they box themselves up and they have, they're so selective of who they want to be with and surround themselves with. They're not putting themselves into these environments where they're like interacting with different people and getting to know someone and connect with someone based on their character and their personality and
There's
things like that.
so many things, right? Like whether, and it's all like big entertainment jokes. Like whether you're watching like a documentary on modern dating and they have like very specific, like when you interview men and I saw somebody say that in this current climate, it's like in the dating scene. I mean, I can't speak because I'm not a single person.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. But
Yeah.
in this day and age, but it's like men and women hate each other so much, like that they can't date. Like it's like women are so upset with men, and men
Dude,
are
what's
so
going
upset
on?
with
What's up
women.
with that?
Whether it's that or whether, if you ever watch, Pop the Balloon. Do you know Pop the Balloon?
Yo, don't get me started. I've seen those clips.
And
yeah.
people walk in and it's like, you know what, I actually can't date you because your shoes are dirty. Like, I actually can't. And I'm like, wasn't the whole point of this like to let people like discuss? And then you're like, is that like literally your turning point? Like, dirty shoes, boom.
Dude, it's crazy.
That's it, I can't. Like, what if that person is like
It
your...
blows my mind. I remember I watched a video where like this one guy walked in and every single chick popped their balloon before he even started speaking. And the host was like, you know what, it's okay. Just introduce yourself.
Okay.
Tell everyone what you do. He goes, yeah, my name is so-and-so. I write storybooks for children. I started a business where I, help children and help rehabilitate them. And my life is dedicated to helping people in need. And you're going to pop your balloon for someone like that.
Which you didn't even get to let them speak. Like,
Just because of his outfit.
yeah, it's usually not even like... I also think like we don't have to go down the whole looks maxing story of like looks and people and how we can decide people based on how they look. But like literally, like you said, it's not even that. Like sometimes it is just like outfit. It's not like, oh, I'm not attracted to you as a person. It's just like,
yeah.
why did you wear skinny jeans today?
Yeah.
It shows me that you don't care
Why
about the
wearing
world.
Vans?
Yeah, like it's so frustrating. And I think it is part of the bigger issues of people not being able to connect. And I don't know if people have also said like this influx of other people's lives. Like I know when we were in university, there was a friend of ours who was doing his honors thesis on, I don't know, what was it called? Celt? What is this thing called? Was it the split self?
Splits half.
Split self. Like
Split self.
And he was talking about how when you're on social media all the time, you're essentially splitting yourself. Like your literal consciousness, not consciousness, not literally, but it's like you are here and you are wherever this person is online at the same time. And how can you like reconcile with being like you're in Bali for a moment and you're looking at these women on the beach, and the next moment you are somewhere else, and then you log off and now you're back here. Like before, if you think about it, before it's like, how much of the stuff do we look at that really doesn't have anything to do with our lives and take up actual rent space when it's in terms of what you get angry about or what you are worried about or what you like fear is going to happen, but it actually has nothing to do with... I'm not saying that people shouldn't care about social issues or the news or bigger world things or trends in the world or culture. Of course, that's not what I'm saying. But this idea, but I don't think he was really going down the social media route as much as in that way, like looking at other people.
More just the attention being warped, yeah.
Like he was more like, if you're just talking to somebody, like how can you be with this person that's not here? Like in a philosophical sense. You are now chatting to someone online and they're not here, but you are with them online, and then boom, you are no longer with them, you're here again. But you're also there. and then you get a message, and then you are with them, or now you're with a different person. Like, to chat to all these different people.
Like your mind goes to them and you picture yourself with them. Is
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like there is a point in time like today, like people who are not here, you're talking to them, and then you stop, and now you are back, and they're not here, and you are back with them again, and you are not. It's just strange. Like even before like a phone call, right? Like you're on a phone, and you talk to this person, but then it's done, and you're only talking to one person. Now I can be talking to you, talk to somebody else, and then I'm also scrolling and I'm looking at somebody else's stuff. When I was in COVID, I was getting increasingly freaked out by how much, like how much intimate detail we have to other people's lives. But this was mainly because of the TikTok influencers that were coming up at the time. Like, I know what your house looks like, and I've never met you. Like, I know what you, and this is different from people who do like day in my life videos. Like, I feel like that's different. Like, that's essentially like little short films of people, and like podcasts and stuff.
Intimate.
People are discussing.
It's
like
very intimate.
You're
still.
setting it up. But yeah, it's like it's weird. It's like I don't know you at
like.
all. Yeah, but I know everything about you, but I don't know you, and you don't know I exist. And
like me.
What the hell?
That's such yes, because I just finished watching season 4 of The Perfect Match.
Yes, you've been saying.
And I'm obsessed with the cast. Like, there's a guy, Jimmy Sotos. So cool. And I don't know this guy personally, but I feel like I know everything about, well, not everything, but I know so much about his life, his career, what he's trying to do now, where he's going. And you're right, you don't know these people.
And they don't know you. It's so freaky.
It's freaky.
Like, and it's like, because I've also done a piece, like an essay on celebrity, and how like the concept of celebrity, or like the noun, what it means to be a celebrity, and how that's shifted, and how the original celebrities of the world were like criminals. Like it was like, oh, we need to, like, wanted posters. That was the first concept of like somebody from another town needing to know about somebody you've never met. It was like, wanted. This person's a criminal and we need to find them. And that's how like the very first celebrities were. It was like, oh my gosh, watch out. This person's coming. And how it's evolved since then to like whether it was before magazines, I guess then there were movie stars, like people who were in plays and stuff. And it's just so interesting because it's like, even if it's 200 years ago when cinema was born, it's really not that long ago when people were like, I don't know if you know this, but one of the first films shown in a movie theater was like a train, something about a train, I don't know the name of it, but it was like, the camera is like a train coming towards it, and people were genuinely scared, like that the train was gonna come through the screen. They're like, what the fuck is happening? And it's like,
is this early filmmaking
like
now?
Like first time people were in a cinema
when it's still what was the old on film, eh?
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, it's weird to think that how we've evolved from that. Then there's this, I always talk about this woman, Laura Mulvey. She follows me everywhere I go. I can't get rid of her. But she's a film theorist, one of the earlier ones. I can't tell you. I think it's 1940 something. I could be wrong. Maybe 1980.
Okay.
But she was talking about, she's the woman who came up with the concept of the male gaze. You may have heard that.
The male gaze.
Gaze, yeah, G-A-Z-E, not
for
gaze.
like a moment in a scene, or
like how we look at people. I don't know if you've ever heard like people talk about, you can tell this was written by a woman or written by a man because of the male gaze. I don't know if you've never, but anyways, it's this idea that like it came from, she was talking about in film how when we watch people or watch films, we are essentially we are watching things. There's a term, I'm trying to remember it, but it's like enjoying watching stuff that you're not supposed to be. It's like it's like voyeurism, right? Like you're watching stuff you're not supposed to be watching, and you don't have the guilt of it because you're in this dark room and you're watching intimate moments between characters, right? Does that make sense? Like you're watching these people, they don't exist, so it's fine. But you're allowed to look at people in ways that you can't look at real people.
Yes, okay.
Like if you think of like the Quentin Tarantino stuff of like maybe the camera is scanning like a woman up and down like the whole way. Like it's not a real person, so you don't have to feel bad.
Yes.
And the camera's doing it, not you. Like you're not like staring at a woman in public and you're scanning her whole body. But from there, and how much we enjoy. Like, I feel like it's like an extreme version of that, like with social media. Like we can do and look at people however we want.
I've never thought of that.
And
That's so
and
cool.
they have no idea. Which, I mean, I guess that's literally why there's so much you can build from this, right? Like OnlyFans and OnlyFans models and people who do use it, like they monetize themselves, capitalize off of that. They know people are looking, and then the loneliness epidemic, they play into, they can make money from it because people are alone and sitting at home and probably looking at the Instagram photos that you've now put up in very specific ways.
100%. But that's,
you know what I mean?
That's where AI is going to absolutely destroy these people, because now you don't
AI.
actually have to show your kitchen or your bathroom. You can actually prompt a nice living room like this, and you can change this picture here to a lion, which I probably would have done.
I might do in the
I
future.
didn't put this here, by the way. I would love a lion. I'll get a lion.
Make it happen.
Yeah, I'm going to make it happen. But anyways, like, you can now prompt AI to create your settings, create your scene, create the story, create these moments between characters like you've just explained. And with that power, it's quite scary what you can actually do. Especially now, you say, with like OnlyFans and OnlyFans models. Now it's going to become AI. And
I mean, it already has in some ways.
It already has. And these guys can now sit in these chat rooms with AI women, and they can really get these AI bots to lean into their fantasies, you know? It's one scary concept. And I feel like once you get trapped in something like that, to now go and interact with another male or female who doesn't necessarily play into your fantasies as easily as this AI bot, it's going to be very hard to form those
genuine connections with people.
It's going to be very tough.
With flawed people, right? Like, people are flawed, which I feel like, and this is the writer in me, but it's like sometimes we forget, myself included, everyone forgets, but like, people are flawed, they're not perfect people. That's kind of the point. Like, that's what makes it interesting. Like, you don't know how people are going to respond. Sometimes you argue, or sometimes they fuck up, and the power to like reconcile after that is what makes life special. It's like, if everything was perfect and your AI girlfriend was good there to tell you everything you need to hear, like, and it just doesn't, there would be an empty, feelingless, emotionless experience of life. Like, life is flawed. Like, all of us have hardships and things in life, and it's crazy because everyone hates it and we all wish life was different. But it's weird because then it's a question of like utopia and dystopia. It's like, if we did live in a utopian world, would anyone be happy? Would anyone be here? I don't know.
I don't think so, hey? I think the challenges we face make life worth living.
Yeah.
I see it that way. I wouldn't... It would be a shame to get everything you've wanted instantly, because you would never work, you would never learn about yourself, about others. I mean, and as you said, that's what makes life beautiful. Yeah.
It's also the classic thing of, like you say, if you could snap your fingers and have something. It's like the process. Those classic quotes that are like, the journey is better than the destination. But it really is sometimes like the journey of trying something. Like, I also talk about this with romantic relationships. Like, I'm increasingly fascinated by the current dating scene and how people engage. But like, the lack of, and I'm not saying, because I obviously certainly didn't experience this, like courtship of the 1800s or something, but like the lack of that general
chivalry,
like where you're not sure about whether you guys like each other, and then you find out somehow that you do kind of like each other and the person likes you back. Like, that's what makes it like, I don't know, exciting. Like, I'm sure, because you also met your girlfriend not through like social media or anything, and that's what like is always more special than like, oh, we both online agreed that we like each other and now we like each other. You know? I'm not saying that those cannot be real relationships, but I find that one of the things that could be like increasingly making people so increasingly frustrated is the lack of that journey, because it's a flawed journey. How many countless times can I tell you where I'm like, oh, I know it, I'm in love with this person loves me, and they did not. I always love to tell the story of like, or no, not always, I recently remembered a story from when I was like 14, 13, and life was like a movie, and you're like, oh, you go to your friend's house and there's like older cousin and he's like there, and you just know, like, you're like, oh, there's something between us. There was nothing between us at all.
You behave a little differently.
Yeah. And it's like, it's the fun of not knowing, I guess. The uncertainty, which everyone hates, everyone does hate it, is actually what makes it like worthwhile in the end. Where if you just knew, like, you could have an AI girlfriend that could make you happy. I don't know.
Yeah. So working in film, you did a bit with Blood and Water, hey?
Yes, that was my first film job.
Explain that to me. Like, what were you doing there? What was that experience like? What did you see?
What was it like?
What was it all about?
So
what is Blood and Water, first of all?
Blood and Water
It's a show on Netflix, but
yes, it's a Netflix teen drama. Okay. Well, not teen drama, it's a drama. But it's about these kids in high school. It's a little bit, it falls in that Netflix trope of like, I don't know, they were doing it at the time all over the world, like little high school dramas, whether it was Elite, which was in Spain.
I remember that.
Do you remember
crazy.
Elite?
Yeah, Elite was
Or
was
Elite,
good.
if you will.
Yeah.
Interesting story. So I came on in season 4. And it was already like pretty big in South Africa at the time. I remember when it came out. I watched season 1. I don't think I watched season 2 or 3 at the time, but it was one of our bigger Netflix shows because it was being watched all over Africa internationally. It was cool. It was being shot. I knew it was being shot at UCT, and this was at the time where everything was being shot at UCT, and everyone was using Cape Town. Like the kissing booth was here, and everyone was like, "Check up Balodi." Did you know that the kissing booth was shot here? You must rewatch it.
What?
It was
at
shot.
UCT?
The school is UCT.
Dude.
And there's this scene at the end, I think it's the first one, where, because Jacob Elordi, I think his name was Noah in the show, in the thing, he rides a motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
And he takes the girl, I don't remember her name, anyways, on the back of his motorcycle and goes on this long drive at the end. It's Chapman's Peak. And it's like, what?
Of course it is.
Of course it is. So it was at this time where when I was there, and I met people who had worked on the kissing booth. But yes, I was just out of university. I remember the day, it was my graduation, when I got the call, and I was signed up to this thing called the SA Film Academy, which was to help young graduates or young people, 18 to 35, I feel, get like their first internships in the film industry. And I wanted to be a screenwriter. And so these are on-set jobs. So not really, they wouldn't give you like a writing job or a directing job, but they can, so film is split up into departments, and you'll see it at the end of like all the credits, where they'll have a camera department, they'll have a wardrobe department, and in it there's lots and lots of roles. So I was kind of trying to see what's on set, but in the script department at least. So there's this thing called the script supervisor, which I'm pretty sure most of the time it's the only, it's usually like a one-man job on the film set, because it's like you are the head of the script. Like the way I describe it, because it's often merged with continuity. So people, like when people shoot films, they don't shoot them like scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4. They go to a location where, and this is usually if it's shot on location, like not in a set or something. Yeah. Because of actors' schedules and stuff, there's a lot that goes into planning it. And then it's like, okay, so we have this location for the next day or 2 days. We're going to shoot everything that happens at this location in the next 2 days. So we can literally go from like episode 4, scene 24, to episode 6, scene 3, to episode 1.
Episodes.
Yeah, so we shot the whole season in like 3 or 4 months. Yeah, 3 or 4 months, all across Cape Town. But like we would only go back to somewhere.
Order.
No, it's not at all.
That's crazy.
Which then makes an admin nightmare if you think about it. Like stuff that happens before the scene, you need to make sure, like, so the scene where you're getting in the car and then going to school is shot at your house, which we shot on day 1. But now the next scene when you're at school is the scene directly afterwards, but we shot it on day 27. We have to make sure you look the same. We have to make sure everything that you've done, you have all the stuff that you had when you left home. You know, like you didn't leave with a
blue bag,
and now you don't have a bag when you get
now
there.
you've got longer hair and facial hair.
The wardrobe department, like it's all connected because it's like facial hair, hairstyles. And I know like with Blood and Water and these fancy like teen shows, a big thing is like hair. How do people wear their hair? Like they experiment with hairstyles, party scenes. My gosh, wardrobe, it's huge. It's huge.
So cool. What a cool space to be involved.
It's huge. And then the continuity person, well, wardrobe and stuff, they tend to do their own continuity as well, like take a photo of you before every single scene so that when we know we're doing the next scene, what did you have? And the art department, which is in charge of all the props, also have their own like ideas of like, okay, we had this in this scene and this and this and this. But the continuity person is kind of just there to, or the script supervisor, make sure that nothing's out of whack from scene to scene. And then within the scenes, like if we're shooting a wide, like of us talking like this, but then like you're shooting right now with multiple cameras. So that's perfect. You don't have to worry about continuity. Everything is going to look the same all the time because it's shot at the exact same time. But usually when you're on location, like if you wanted to now shoot a close-up of you from this side, right? We would have to move all of this so that we can put the camera in and the lighting to shoot you. Then we would have to shoot me. And then we would put everything back exactly how it was in this original shot, come behind you and do the same thing. So you have to make sure everything's in bits and pieces, but you have to make it look like it's one thing. So, and on top of that, and this is where I loved it the most, is you have to make sure, like I said, everything's shot out of whack. You have to make sure you shoot everything because you can't get to the end and like, oh fuck, we didn't shoot the voiceover for this scene. We don't have it. Or, oh, we didn't shoot like her taking something out the bag. Like you have to make sure everything is shot and everything is shot how we need. And then you detail, this is the last part of it, but you detail everything, every shot and how it is to make it easier for the editors. So like, was take 2 good? Was take 3 just useless? We don't want it at all. What were the mistakes? So that they can be like, don't waste their time going through hours and hours and hours of footage.
Yeah.
So it was very cool. And what's amazing about it for me, it is life-changing. It's like to see there's hundreds of people making it happen behind the scenes, working crazy hours from 12 to 12, from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. It's really, really, really cool.
You just think of that career space as, you just think of a director and an actor.
Yeah, and you think of it as an artsy thing.
Yeah. Like, you don't really think that you could get in there and just, do the makeup or even just to write these scripts. My word. I don't know how people do it.
To me, that was the freakiest thing as a writer as well.
Yeah.
It's like and that's why I think I've also pivoted back to I call it like normal writing, like you're writing a book or you're writing an essay, something that doesn't need to then become something else. Because, or at least for film, it's so overwhelming to think, because when you're writing, you imagine everything. Like you can imagine a helicopter comes and picks them off the ground. You can imagine anything. But then when it's time to make it, how are you going to do that? Like how are you going to, it becomes so administrative and then technical as well. Like to make sure stunt actors, like back when we were on Blood and Water, if it was like someone has to ride a motorcycle, there's a stunt person. If there's a fight, like a physical fight,
oh really?
Stunt person, choreographers, you can't just have people. But yeah, wardrobe
but some
and
actors
makeup
can do, like Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
they end up doing their own
do their own stuff, but they still have to be choreographed and like prepared and like run the stunt so that it doesn't hurt them, or like
they have to go through, like with Creed, you have to go learn how to box before you
can even look like you can. Yeah.
Don't know, is everything still rolling? Yeah, perfect.
I was gonna say one more thing about the magic of cinema is like, I thought the art department is magical. Like They can come here. They'll paint your whole house. Like they'll paint it. They'll change everything. They will take this off the wall, put something else on the wall. Every single thing is put there. Like it's not fair. Like it's not like, oh, they arrived and they found the perfect house. Everything is like crafted to represent the scene, and stuff like doubles. I was so interested. Like there was scenes where people like break their phones and shit, and they have like doubles of phones that look just like phones, but they're not real phones. And I'm like, how? How is this real? Like they make it's so fascinating.
That is fascinating. And even when they do things like food, they'll make it out of like cardboard.
Yeah.
Like a cake, they'll just put shaving cream on the outside and really cool tricks like that. I love the film space. I wish I could have been. Well, I mean, I guess I could still.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. I should not speak like that. But to become an actor,
yeah,
dude, dream job. I'd
could
like
see
to
it.
be like I want to say like a Chris Hemsworth kind of an actor.
And is it because people have so many ideas about acting? So what is it about acting that interests you specifically?
Yeah, I love how you can become a character and kind of take on that experience. Like one moment you can be Thor, and then you can be a soldier that's like shooting everyone and saving a child, and you're a superhero, and then you're like a villain. Like you can like play into your imagination, which I think is pretty cool.
I think it's also fascinating, like you say, embodying these different things and allowing yourself to go to places. Like you can be a villain, whereas in real life you're like you shouldn't be one.
Yeah.
But it allows you to like explore human experience to like crazy degrees. It's so cool. I take my hat off to actors.
And did you interact with the actors?
I
in
did.
Blood and Water? How were they as people?
They were lovely. A lot of them were lovely.
Normal, down to earth.
Down to earth, all South Africa. Oh, this was the interesting thing I wanted to tell you, because you knew what Elite was. But there was, in season 4, the season that I worked on, they were doing a crossover between Elite and Blood and Water. So there was an actor, Ivan, that was his character's name, that came, and he was part of the show, and I was like, oh my God, I was geeking out. It was like really cool to like, in this like small random world, interact with an international actor. All very down to earth. It was really interesting to see the differences between like cast and crew, because I guess sometimes it is totally like they say, where it's like they have their noses up and they're like too busy for you, or like they have very different concerns to technical people. Like they have to be warm all the time, and they have to have like the tea to get ready, which I'm not shitting on. They do need that, because their work is different to our work.
Of course.
Whereas like I remember on that shoot we had days where we were like in the rain for 12 hours. Like there was no inside place to be. There was a gazebo and there was no indoor that you could go to. We had to shoot like, by Camps Bay, that like tidal pool, not the Camps Bay tidal pool, the other one with the rocks, Marinas something. Marinas.
Are you talking about the one here,
where
Saunders?
people pry?
No.
Odacrol. Yeah. Like that's like in between one of them, but it was like
Bali Beach. That area.
Where I know people will like sometimes surf, because I know I could see people surfing in the rain. It was raining, and we were doing a scene where these two actors are in a car, and we were all outside, obviously, because it's all, there is no shelter anywhere, and it's just pouring, and we're all like shivering. Wow. But it's also so special. Like it's so cool to hear people that you like saw growing up. Like one of the actors was the father of the main character, and he was in Invictus, which was shot with Matt Damon and Morgan Freeman about the Rugby World Cup. And I remember like getting to speak to him and seeing like I think Clint Eastwood directed it, and hear what he was like on that experience, which like these things you grew up watching and you couldn't even imagine. And it's like they detail how different, and every set is different. Like Blood and Water was very professional. It's like as top as it gets. Everyone was great, everyone was nice, everyone was professional. And I've also worked on small sets with friends, which are like also really good, and everyone's just doing their best to get there. Like no one's really getting paid a lot. They're just getting paid to like make it happen so that they're not losing any money. And then I've worked on sets with some terrible people as well, where nobody cares about your time and nobody cares about your food, like when you need to eat. And they will just send you home whenever. But Blood and Water was cool to see what it was like at that level, whether like how they shoot scenes in water, like lights that go in water and cameras that go. There's this whole thing called like the frogs or something, which is like their entire like job on the film set is they get hired, and they're not on every film set. Obviously, they are a team of divers that help you
Unreal.
like shoot scenes in water.
That's so cool.
And one of them, they used to be professional divers, and now they can't dive really deep anymore. Because like if you think about it, we were just shooting scenes in like a swimming pool, but how do you do that? Like how do you light for a swimming pool under the water
To make it look like it's
so
deep.
that you can see stuff? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah, as well,
how do you just do that? And then how do you need someone
And
in the
that's
water?
And that's someone just holding a light?
There's some lights that they just drop into the pool, but they're big lights. And then there's some cameras that now, these are professional high grade level cameras that now, do you want to put them in the water? How many people, they're heavy, how does it, it's just really cool. There's so many like levels to filmmaking that like when you talk about the job market and stuff, like it's cool because people can get super passionate about something and people need it. Like yes, I do need a diver that can make movies. Or I'm trying to think of other weird stuff we had on that shoot. There was one day where it was supposed to be raining in the scene, or just after a day that it had rained, and they were driving, like there was just a car. So they got a fire truck, Cape Town City fire truck, to come and wet down the whole road so that it was wet. And I was like, wow, is that how they do that? Or we had a scene, there was a beach party at Llandudno, and they had like lights. They put lights in the ocean so that the ocean looked extra blue.
No ways.
I will show you a photo. It was unbelievable. I remember driving down they put us in buses because it was so difficult to get to Llandudno. And then they needed a crane. You know those beautiful beach party shots where they're like, I'm on Leo and then I come up and now you see the whole party. They have to build the crane for that. So like then there's a whole thing called grips, which I also admire grips, the grips department. Where they build all the stuff that cameras can sit on so that they can move or do fancy shits.
Wow.
Like they build a crane. It's like weightlifting for film. Like carry the heaviest shit down and then they sit and watch the filmmakers do the thing. This will be like the last story, but like one of the actors couldn't drive and she was supposed to be driving this car.
Like she doesn't have a license.
But she can't drive, like at all.
No.
And so they tie like a big ass rope to the front of the car. And all of us, like 4 or 5 of us, are like pulling it.
No.
To make it look like she's driving. And it works and it looks real. And I'm like, is this how you guys do it?
Was she turning
she's
like...
yeah. And then afterwards there'll be a Foley person who can like add the sounds. And then the car breaks down, so it's okay. But like, people are literally pulling it. I'm like, whoa. It's
so
crazy.
much goes into it. It's really cool. Special work as well, hey. I think a lot of beautiful things have come from film. And videography and stuff. So many beautiful ideas and so many people inspired. Like professional athletes, they'll watch like Rocky. And they'll say, no, when I was growing up, I watched Rocky films and that's what made me want to be the next champ. And stuff like that. I really created some incredible stories out there.
I definitely think like, for me, I grew up writing, like I used to write all the time. And I promised myself like I would never be a writer because it would take the fun out of it. It's like similar to the jiu-jitsu stuff. I don't want to take the fun out of it. But then I couldn't stop. Like I was like, I'm going to study. Like I went to university to study politics, actually. And then I needed a second major, which I had no idea I needed at the time. And I was like, cool, I'll just take English then, I guess, because. And then gradually I was like, I don't really like politics. Forget that. I'm going to do English and film. And then even when I did film in my honors, I always did like an English course with it. So it's like this thing that's like followed me. Like I don't need it. I'm just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And now it's like what I do. And I think like
So
when you
dope.
talk about stuff like there's this stuff that really impacts you, but also there's stuff that just make your day better. Like I don't know, just stuff that. And I know today what I hate sometimes is like you turn on a show or you read a book and it's terrible. Like I don't know if you have that these days. It's just like it's so bad that I'm not enjoying it. I hate that. Drives me up the wall. It's like you can just tell these people just wanted a bunch of money, or they like got a bunch of famous influencers together. Like you can see Addison Rae as an actor. Like I don't want to see that.
Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart films.
I don't need to see Central Intelligence. Please
Stop, guys. If you're watching this, stop. Stick to comedy, Kevin Hart.
Yes, stop. And it's just sometimes like you forget when like we don't have it anymore. Like I know I always also find rom-coms so fascinating. Like there was a time where rom-coms were genuinely either A, funny, or B, like you actually felt for these characters and you didn't know if they were going to be together, and now they are. But now you'll watch like, what was this recent one, Anyone But You, with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell, and it's like, I know they're going to be together. I know this is just like, they're not really, like this is like a weird, we just have to wait till the moment that they do. And I saw this video essay where people were talking about the chemistry between characters is broken now. Like they don't set up chemistry like, oh, like we were talking about earlier, I've learned something about you and I'm interested in you. It's implied that because these two people are attractive, they like each other, and that's enough for you to feel like they are supposed to be together, rather than like people getting to learn about each other and then it's like, oh, that's interesting, or like it's more like developing the whole show. It's a whole movie. It's implied that, and we all do believe it. Like I watched it, I enjoyed it, but it always feels like something's missing. It's like they're very, very attractive people, but that's not enough sometimes. So I think sometimes art is also about preserving, like that is not doing it. So like preserving human experience, like we've already said. And also, I've always been interested in history, memory, historiography. I feel like there's this weird, I love reading about life before me. And I like the idea that maybe someday in the future, I don't want somebody to look at anyone but you and be like, that's what life was like at this time. It really wasn't. So a big thing for me is like trying to capture life and its uniqueness now. Like when I was in Ghana and on my trip for Fumo, it was like something that occurred to me, which is like, we're no longer the young people that are like not allowed to, or not developed enough to share opinions. And the old people or older people just don't have the experiences that we have. They can't tap into the uniqueness of whether we say it's growing up with social media, not having third spaces, living in a late capitalist society where there's huge unemployment and people are having existential crises all the time. AI psychosis, blah, 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 blah. They might know what AI is. I know my mom knows what AI is. I know what she knows what it does. But she definitely doesn't know that people are like befriending AI and like people you know are befriending it and using it to make psychological decisions about their life. Only we know that, right?
That's scary.
And so that's why I feel like with my work, my creative work, a big thing is like I want to preserve moments as they are now for future. Because we are like, you know, it's always that classic thing of tell the story only you can tell. And it's like, well, really, nobody can. I don't know how many times, I don't know if you experience this where you watch something or you read something and I just get so irritated. I'm like, I can tell this person actually has no idea. Like they're cosplaying as like a young person. Yeah. They actually are missing the whole point. Like I know Daniel and I are currently rewatching 13 Reasons Why. And you can tell, do you know what 13 Reasons Why is?
I haven't watched it, but I get the gist. But not really, to be honest.
I know it's a little bit before your time in the Nexus.
I'm not that
young.
I'm not that young. Come on, guys.
But there's like, it's about Hannah Baker, this girl who kills herself, and she commits suicide, and then leaves behind 13 tapes, and every person she says is like one of the reasons that she committed suicide. But when we watch it, like, you can tell it's not a teenage person who's dealing with real teenage issues. Like, it's an older person who's like thinks that this is what teenagers deal with, and this is how teenagers speak to each other. And it's like...
Yeah, and sometimes it's very grown up.
It's very strange. Like, it's like... Or sometimes it's really grown up, and then sometimes it's like really like comically not... Like they're real children. Like, there's this one scene where she's like, hot chocolate fixes everything. And I'm like, no. Like, no 17-year-old is actually romanticizing hot chocolate.
No.
Like, and that's not, at the end of the day, what drives them to these complex issues with, like, wondering about whether it's self-harm, or you're, like, having psychological... fears, whether you're like thinking about suicide, or like nihilism, or you're having existential crises. Like, there are real issues that young people deal with, and you can just tell that, like, that person is like, wow, two girls are fighting and now the one hates the other one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just feel like young people need to also, like, it's always, you can, like, more authentic when young people are making their own art, whether it's like this podcast where it's like two young people actually speaking, rather than like, sometimes, I'm not hating, but sometimes Joe Rogan doesn't know the experience of young people at the time, but he can research it, you know, and it's not the same, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So Santh, I love what you're saying there, and I love that. I love that outlook for career, looking to preserve, you know, the realities of today. When it comes to now, and I just want to come back to Jiu-Jitsu, what's next for you before we start wrapping it up? What are you doing next? What can people expect from you in the next couple months?
For me, there's no plan to quit Jiu-Jitsu. That's
Good.
the first thing.
Yeah.
In the next 2 weeks, I will be going to Turkey. If everything goes well, everyone gets their visas, but it looks like 98% chance we'll be going to Turkey to compete in gi and no gi. And the gi is a Grand Slam. It'll be my first Grand Slam, AJP. At blue belt, both of them are belted. I don't have a training camp planned after that, but it looks like that will be more international competitions. That, and then AJP no-gi Worlds at the end of the year in Turkey. Maybe we can get a little sassy and do a little IBJJF Worlds or Euros, who knows.
Nice.
But definitely more international competition, more training. I think another thing that also changed my mind, where I came back and I was like, should I compete, not compete anymore? Somebody had said to me, you are only young for a short period of time where your body can actually do this stuff at this level, at the highest level. Or, you know, right now you're not getting any younger. And I don't ever want to get to a point where I'm like 40 or 50 and I think about like, I could have done it, but I was just scared of losing.
Yeah.
So I want to compete as much as I can, win or lose, train, get better. All the local comps, definitely. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Santhea, you have my backing. I'm one of your biggest fans, so I'm very excited to see you get out there and go kick some ass. That's exciting. In closing, what I'm trying to start with this podcast is every person I interview or talk to leaves a question with me in private, in which I ask the next guest without knowing who it's for.
I love it.
Yes. So you'll give me your question after the show, and I'll ask the next person. I do randomize it sometimes, but oftentimes I will. So your question today.
Okay.
If you had... Okay. I'm trying to remember. I wrote it out. Excuse me.
Interesting.
Okay. So the person dearest to you passes away, and you have a 60-second phone call with them. You have the ability to have a 60-second phone call with them. What are you saying in those 60 seconds?
I'm starting with I love you and thank you for the time that we've spent together. And I would just basically go on, like, just to be grateful for the time that I have with them, make them know that I appreciate them in all of themselves, flaws, great moments. And I'd probably end, and I would rush through it. So I'd probably end with a memory, a really, really good memory. Because I know, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say whatever. I know that in this experience, I'm definitely imagining Daniel. And I know that when we first started going out, we used to speak when we had these really, really good moments, and maybe we were very, very young. We would have these moments where we both agree, very rare, where it's like, oh, if we died, that this is the moment we wish we would return to. Like, I don't believe in heaven or hell or anything like that, but like, it's weird to imagine, like, if you died and you could go to like a moment that you could live in forever. So I would probably retell one of those moments to just say that I will have that for then. But yeah, that is a crazy question.
It's a good question.
But it's a great question.
I love that. I think it's, wow, that's very beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out today. This was great.
It was great. And all the best for, I'm so excited to see the next one.
Yeah. Subscribe, follow along. Let's get it. Thank you.
Bye. That was so cool.